Mode today, and we're going to talk about what it's like to be a student-athlete-cadet. I go to Clemson University, run track and field and cross country, 3 sports, 3 seasons. I'm a senior in the ROTC program, so this is what it looks like a week in my life. I brought the whiteboard out today just so my math is correct. But we're going to go ahead and go through my hourly contributions during my week. So to start off, as you may know, 20 hours a week is the maximum training time that we're allowed to have as D1 athletes. Although that quickly becomes the standard. So it is 20 hours, no ifs, ands, or buts. Frequently doing 2 practices a day, team meetings Monday through Saturday, get Sundays off. So that's 20 hours. It's like a part-time job. Then let's look at ROTC. Because I'm a senior, it's about 12 hours a week of required time. So that's time when I'm in class, going to physical training, lab, anything like that. There's also miscellaneous time built in there when we're doing stuff on the weekends, but averaged out, I would say 12 hours a week, I'm actually somewhere. So right now we're at 32 hours between these two. So then I'm also a student, which is probably should have been the first thing I went over, but I'm taking 16 credit hours, computer information systems major. It's a pretty intense major. But I also take ROTC as a class. So I'm going to take ROTC out. We're going to go with, that would be 12 credit hours, 12 hours of class per week. So Monday through Friday. Well, really Monday through Thursday, because I have Fridays off right now with my schedule. So from right there, we have 32 plus 12. We're looking at 44 hours where I actually have to be somewhere. That's required time. So 44 hours of my week, I am somewhere I have to be to stay in school and ROTC and on the track team. Then I would say the next biggest time commitment is probably homework. We're going to go with, it's probably 2 to 3 hours a day. And then Sundays, I'd say it's more like 4 to 6. So I'm just going to go with 2 times 6. We're looking at 12 plus 4, 16 hours of homework per week. What's really the big kicker here is like coding assignments. So that takes up a lot of my time, just coding and checking and making sure everything's all good. So with 16 hours, we're looking at 60 hours per week that I'm actually doing something that's not free time. So 60-hour work week, that is it's over 7 days. So I guess it's not as bad as that might sound. Then I'd probably throw in eating in there just to break down the time I spend eating. We're going to go with 30 minutes per meal. I would say it's probably more like 15 for breakfast, 45 for dinner. So 30, 30, 30. Let's go 90 minutes per day. 90 times 7 days a week. We're looking at 630 minutes. Or if you were to break that down, 7 hours plus 3.5 hours, 10.5 hours to eat. Which is modest because I love eating, but I'm also snacking during class or doing homework. So we'll throw that in there. Okay, so we're looking at 70 hours, because I don't really care about that half, 30 minutes, 70 hours per week, eating, running, ROTC, schoolwork. Not too bad. That's only 10 hours a day for 7 days a week. So you might ask yourself, what do I do in my free time? I read a lot of books. So I'd probably say I read or listen to an audiobook about an hour a day. So we could throw that in there as another 7 hours per week. But truthfully, I mean, I'm doing something for 10 hours a day. So let's throw in sleep. If I got 8 hours of sleep, which I strive for, wouldn't exactly say that happens because we practice on Monday at 7 a.m., ROTC on Tuesday at 5:45, Wednesday 7 a.m., Thursday 5:45, Friday 7 a.m. So if I really was getting the sleep I need to get, 8 hours times 7 is 56 hours. Okay, so if we're adding in 7 hours of reading, we're going to go with 77 plus 56. And we're going to get 133. That would be correct. 133 hours per week. Now, how many hours are in a week? 24 times 7. I should probably know that just off the top, but would 168 hours sound right? Yeah, I think so. So 168 hours, and I'm doing something for 133 hours, including sleep, which leaves me a good solid 35 hours of free time, which is pretty cool. So 35 hours of free time per week. That doesn't include driving, though. So I'd say, for all of these activities, I am driving to and from class and stuff. I'm probably driving for like total 30 minutes to an hour-ish a day. I mean, it's probably 10 minutes to track. It might be more. Probably an hour a day. Which, would limit free time to about 20. So, there you have it. That's the breakdown. A lot of people ask me, the reason I'm making this video is really for people that want to know what it looks like to be, a track and field athlete. I also do ROTC, which is pretty rare. I'm also in season all the time, which is also rare. So most student athletes are only hitting that 20 hours a week for their season, football season, for example. And then when they're in the spring, they're doing 8-hour weeks. So it's pretty unique that I'm doing 20 hours a week every week. I wouldn't exactly say, I don't know. It never changes for me, so I don't think like if I went from 8 to 20, I'd probably be upset or, have to schedule things differently. But the way it's set up, it's 20 hours a week every week. Overall, I wouldn't say it's that difficult. It just takes a lot of time management skills. Whenever you're trying to do something like I'm doing, and people might ask why would you do all of those? And that's because ROTC is paying me to go to school, full ride. So I needed that covered coming out of high school. And then I also wanted to run. And the team was like, well, if you have a full ride, you can run for sure. So that's kind of how it all worked out. And then obviously school, I'm computer information systems major, which is not easy by any means, but I want to make money when I graduate. So that's kind of important to me as well. I don't hate my schedule. I really don't. I think it's balanced in a good way. It's busy. I don't have a lot of time to get into trouble or waste a lot of time. But it also makes my time very valuable. So I kind of have to navigate, building relationships and maintaining relationships through all of that, which has become more important to me, I think, than it used to be because, freshman year I was so concerned with the schedule that I wasn't really investing in my friends or, relationships close to me as much as I maybe should have, which I'm glad, COVID kind of happened. I kind of got a break and I got to realize it would be a lot more important to have friends walking out of college than just accolades. So, in conclusion, I love my schedule. It's not an easy path. I don't think everybody could do it. That might be a little superiority complex I'm having. But, when people look at my schedule and they go, oh, that sucks, or like, oh, that's bad, I don't view it that way. I think I chose to do everything that I'm doing, and I enjoy everything that I'm doing. And this is just kind of the way the cookie crumbles. If you want to go to college for free, and be at the Division I level and, do an engineering major. It's, you got to take all those things in, and what you sacrifice, what you put in is what you're going to get out. So I hope that's helpful for anybody looking to do something similar or a similar path. I hope that you could look at that and be inspired by it and go ahead and try to do the same thing if that's what you want to do with your college years or with the rest of your life. I know I'm going to be set up pretty well in the, real world just because of what I've done here in college and what I've put my efforts into. So that's that. If we want to transition, I think maybe I could talk about how I got to running and how I got an ROTC scholarship, because you may be interested in that as well. Straight out of high school, how do you do that? So I didn't do JROTC in high school. Number one thing, I just want to throw that out there. It's not a requirement. My dad was in the Army, which he kind of prompted the idea of ROTC. He was in ROTC when he was in college. And I knew it was a way I could go to college for free if I got the scholarship. So the scholarship is a pretty intense interview process. You have to answer a lot of questions. You have to do a lot of paperwork. You have to have good grades. You have to have good test scores. You have to be physically fit. So all those things kind of get thrown into one giant computer, and then they decide who gets 4-year scholarships, 3-year scholarships, 2-year scholarships. And fortunately for me, when I applied, the Army granted me 4-year scholarship to Clemson, Auburn, and Kentucky. So if I went to either one of any of those three, I could, go for free, essentially. So that happened early senior year. I think I got that back in October or November. And I applied early, which is also a huge recommendation if that's something that you want to do. Start thinking about it early, start getting those recommendations and interviews done early, because it can kind of suck if you're in the tail end. They might not have a 4-year scholarship to offer you. So you kind of want to knock that out and be on that first wave. And even if you get a 3-year or you don't get a scholarship in the first wave, you can reapply for the second wave. And I think there's 3 or 4 waves. So keep at it. Keep improving your test scores. Even you can not get it on the first round, take the SAT again, get it. So that's pretty cool. Track, cross country, running. I started running my freshman year of high school. I didn't really take it that seriously, and I wasn't that good. So freshman year was kind of a wash. I think over the summer, some of the seniors on the team, some of my boys, they recognized that I was going to be running, not doing another sport. And they're like, hey, do you want to come join us for these summer runs? Get our summer training done together, which is so much more fun than running on your own. And personally, I probably wouldn't have run if it wasn't for them. So they took me under their wing, came and picked me up, went on the summer runs. And I built up a lot of fitness that summer. And I basically made varsity my first race of sophomore year in cross country. Had a breakthrough race. I think I ran 16:30 in the 5K, where my previous best was probably 21 minutes. Pretty bad. So a 5-minute jump in my 5K, which was pretty cool. And then from then on, it was, I want to run in college. How am I going to get there? So I toured a lot of places, took my visits. By senior year, I had my times down to 15:45 in the 5K, 9:23 in the 2 mile, 4:20-ish in the mile, a state championship in cross country, and a 4x8. So that was pretty attractive to every track coach that I talked to. I just reached out via email. I was getting offers from smaller schools, smaller D1s, D2s, D3s were all over me. They wanted me to come run for them and offered, you're going to have a great education, apply, we'll get you in kind of thing. I really, I guess in an elitist way, didn't think that I wanted to go anywhere else besides a Division I school and a Power 5 conference, which is the wrong belief to have, if I'm speaking candidly. You can succeed anywhere. You can succeed at a D3 school. There are D3 kids running faster than I am. There are D2 kids running faster than I am. I think I just probably had a little bit of a superiority complex that I was the best on my team and I was running these good times and other kids I was beating were going to other schools. So that kind of made me, I guess, partial to Division I. I also wanted to go to a big school and get a degree that was, good for employment, I guess is how I would say it. Because you need to look at that. Like, that's a big thing is, what are you going to do after these 4 years? Like, if I'm not going pro for running, then running at some school that I'm not going to get anywhere through my degree or they don't have a good enough program, something like that, is not going to help me in my future. So I think I was always future oriented with that, and I wanted to go to a school that I was, going to be able to succeed academically and athletically. So that led me to Clemson. It was probably one of the better schools that I got into. I think I applied to 5 schools total and got into 5 schools. I didn't really care too much about like the clout of going to an Ivy League school or going to like a public Ivy or Duke or something like that. For me, I just wanted to go to a place that I felt at home, and Clemson was that place for me. So I think I probably could have gone to, Michigan. Maybe I waitlisted at Michigan or something like that. But with the ROTC scholarship, you have to submit your preferences of schools as well. So I just kind of went with what I knew. I knew I'd gotten in to a couple schools, gotten into Clemson before I applied, which was also a big help, big tip. If you're trying to apply at ROTC, you should get into the school first and then submit your application. So that's basically what happened. And now I'm a senior, been running the past 4 years. I've made ACCs every time I wasn't injured. I haven't had an extremely successful career. I'm not sitting here with a bunch of medals or NCAA qualifications, but that's okay. I think a lot of running is more about the process than it is the result. And I'm learning about my body. I'm learning about how to properly train and just kind of nailing it down now, which is obviously late, but I wasn't a freakishly talented kid coming out of high school. I was just a grinder. I put the work down and got the results back. So I think overall I'm satisfied with, maybe I'm content with where I'm at athletically. I'm not satisfied with my PRs or anything. I want to go faster, and I think I can, especially this last track season. But it all worked out pretty well. I mean, coming in as a freshman, I was pretty scared. I wasn't going to be able to handle doing both or doing ROTC and running at the same time and succeeding academically. Like, those are 3 pretty big tasks to put on, an 18-year-old's shoulders. And now I've figured it out to the point where I'm, kind of coasting and just putting my effort where I need it to go. Biggest piece of advice for that really is, in anything you do, you have to give 100%. You have to put in the amount of focus, amount of effort that is equal to the result you want to get out. So every time I was doing something ROTC related, or every time I was running a workout, I'm putting 100% of my focus into that. There's no other thoughts of, while I'm doing track, I'm thinking about ROTC, or I'm thinking about class, or I'm thinking about girls, or friendships, or something. I'm focused in that workout. And that's probably the difference between making it and not making it. As kids who get overwhelmed with academics while they're trying to run, or academics while they're trying to do ROTC, or vice versa, they're overwhelmed with track while they're trying to do schoolwork, or overwhelmed with, something else, family life, all those kind of things can get jumbled. But the greatest tool I have in my toolkit is to put 100% effort and focus into the thing that I'm currently doing. And that took mastery. It took years of work to get to that level where I can shut off everything else and just singularly focus. But it made me extremely efficient. And that efficiency is the reason that I can sit here today and, work 70 hours a week and succeed. And that gives me confidence going into corporate America or a big job that I can handle that because I've already done it. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope for any of you going through any of these processes, trying to get recruited, trying to get an ROTC scholarship, trying to pick your major, trying to pick your college, that you reach out and ask some questions. Please send me some comments, whatever. I'll answer anything and try to help you guys out because I've gone through it all. It's worked out. I would consider my story a success, and I'm walking out of college debt-free with 4 years of Division I track, high GPA, and a degree that opens me up for a ton of jobs. So thank you guys for listening. As always, what did you achieve today? And go out and make it happen.